Julie, there are three little words that I want parents' antenna to go up on anytime they hear it at an IEP, Individualized Education Program team meeting. And those three little words are, our policy is, okay? Whenever you hear our policy is, you should be on alert because you're about to probably be told no to some request that you've made. It's just been my experience that that's the case. Right. So we're going to give you some good responses to our policy is, but here's what you need to know. School districts do and can and should have policies in place, but they cannot be in contravention with the federal law. They have to be in keeping with the IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, and all of the other federal statutes that school districts are required to follow. So just because a policy may or may not exist doesn't mean that it's okay or legal for if it's different than what the federal law requires.
Well, a lot of times, in my experience, someone on the team will say, our policy is, and upon further investigation, you find out that there actually isn't a policy.
Right.
And in fact, someone might say, well, that's the way we've done it for years. And so it almost becomes sort of an urban legend. Well, because we've done it this way for so long, people assume it's a policy.
It's a policy.
When in fact, it may not be. And it may be that they say our policy is, and it's a very legitimate policy. But if it has to do with your child's individualized education program, whatever policy it is must be in keeping with the IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So let's give some examples,
right. So
Jen.
As you're saying, it really, more often than not, it's really a practice, not a policy. A policy implies that somebody voted on it and it's written down somewhere, okay? So you want to ask if our policy is, and the things I hear a lot are things like, our policy is that parents of children are not allowed to observe students at school here, which is illegal for a number of reasons, okay?
Right.
Our policy is that you have to have on your IEP speech and language impaired as your eligibility category in order to get speech services, which is also not legal under the IDEA.
Our policy is you can only get extended school year services if you can prove your child regresses.
Right. Our policy is you can only get this particular eligibility category if you meet a certain criteria on one test. So there's all sorts of these kind of pseudo policies that are out there.
Right.
So here's what I would suggest you say. Very first thing you say is, I would love to have a copy of that policy. Could you give it to me? Or can I find it on the board's website somewhere? What's the number of the policy? Ask for it.
Right.
Ask to get the policy because, again, more often than not, it's not a policy, it's a practice. If it is a policy, it probably doesn't say quite what you were told it says. And if it does say quite what you were told it says, it very well may not be legal. So you want it in writing. That's one of those times you want to ask for it in writing.
Right. So the bottom line is, when they say our policy is, be on your toes.
That's right.